Good evening and welcome. Thank you for joining us tonight for the 15-minute UTA Student Master Plan for Dallas City Hall and Downtown, presented in partnership with the Dallas Architecture Forum. Thank you, Ada, for this great collaboration. At the Architecture and Design Exchange, we are committed to making architecture and design accessible to everyone. And we are pleased to host this presentation featuring the work of UTA CAPPA students. Tonight's presentation explores ideas for a more connected and walkable downtown Dallas, centered on City Hall and its role on the city's future. Thank you for being here, and please join us welcoming the presenters.
Hello, everyone. I'm Eduardo Castañeda, an adjunct professor at UTA Arlington, and I'm also an associate principal at Arcadis.
Hello, my name is Jason Wheeler. I'm also an adjunct professor at UTA Arlington and design technology manager at Gensler.
I'm Carlos Alba, professor as well, and I work at Perkins & Will. I'm a senior designer. Thank you so much for being here tonight.
So we'll keep it short on our end, but again, we just wanted to go ahead and give a quick introduction to us. These students, 15 students that we were lucky to have this semester, we had 15 of them on their fourth year. They're about to graduate. They're graduating on Friday, so they're at the last end of it. Maybe. And also looking for internships. So after this presentation, I'm sure you'll be very impressed. We just want to say very quickly, we're really proud of these students, of the effort they put into this semester. They really did not have an idea of what impact they were going to be able to present to the city of Dallas when taking on this project in January. And I think, they came a long way, and I think they have something to say, not just that, there is one viable option for City Hall. We need to come together and bring all the planners, bringing all the developers into one room and really decide what is best for the city of Dallas and not necessarily for one party. And so from the urban planning side, architect side, the students are going to present their proposal.
Yeah, sure. So when we started this master plan, we had no clue the conversation around City Hall was going to go the way it has. Seriously, we had no clue. So as we kept on listening to the news and understanding what was going on, we realized that what we were doing in a classroom could actually help inform people in Dallas that you don't have to start from scratch. You don't need a blank slate. You don't need to demolish everything. We have enough space to fit. We have enough space to fit everything they want, everything everybody wants, plus preserve our history, plus create the city we want to live in, they want to live in, right? Yeah. So there's two kids back there. They're my daughters, Emma and Sarah. Emma is 8, Sarah is 7. And this is our ask from the city. Take today the best decisions so that in 20 years, they can be living, playing, and working maybe in a downtown Dallas that they deserve. Yeah. So that's what we need.
I guess the only point I'll add to all this is that we also. Is that good? Am I right? Okay. We added a layer of performance-driven design over this whole exercise. So we used Autodesk Forma, McNeil Grasshopper, and things like this that really gave us data analytics in performing and understanding how the design was going to perform in different iterations. So it wasn't just hey, we have a design, we plopped it on a piece of land. It was integrated and used throughout the process.
So with that, we'll give you the suits. Yeah? Thank you.
All right. Hello, my name is Daniel Maldonado Orozco, and I will be introducing our project today. With the demolition of the current convention center in the Dallas Civic District, our primary task was to first understand the site and then propose a design that would revitalize and densify South Downtown Dallas. The site is very large and currently underutilized, so densifying it required careful placement of different programs such as residential, retail, hospitality, and education. There were also talks about demolishing Dallas City Hall, so our secondary objective became to integrate City Hall into our proposal to show that it can still remain and function as the heart of the district. Our third objective was to connect our entire site to the new convention center through a sports arena that would act as a major anchor for growth and activity. Overall, the studio was framed as a 15-minute city challenge. This meant deciding a district where daily needs such as living, working, playing, and entertainment could all be reached within a 15-minute walk. These types of cities are known to densify and improve the quality of life. So, you might be asking, where did all of this come from? Next slide. Oh, there you go. What's driving all of this? Well, this is the south part of downtown Dallas. This is the convention center. It is currently being demolished. So we started asking ourselves, next slide, what can we put there? What do we do with this piece of land, this huge piece of land? And then we started looking around it, and we realized that this is not the only piece of land that we should be thinking about. There's a lot more that needs improvement. Then we asked ourselves 4 primary questions to answer this problem. What makes a city work for people? What makes a city comfortable? As designers, what type of city would we like to live in? And then our final question is, what would drive us to live, work, play, and stay in downtown Dallas? The answer to all of these questions was the 15-minute city.
Hi guys, I'm Avi, and I'm going to talk more about the 15-minute city. The 15-minute city is a simple approach to city planning where everything you would need is within a quick 15-minute walk or bike ride from your front door. Instead of spreading cities out and forcing people to drive long distances to access daily necessities like work, school, the grocery store, or the doctor's office, this idea mixes homes, businesses, and essential services together in the same neighborhood. By making things closer and easier to reach without a car, it cuts down on traffic, cuts down on pollution, saves people time, and helps people build friendlier communities where you get to actually know your neighbors. This concept is broken down into 3 scales. The first is a hyperlocal 5-minute radius. This includes convenience stores, bakeries, cafes, pocket parks, and other areas for social interaction amongst neighbors. The second is a neighborhood level, which is a 10-minute walk or a quick bike ride. This includes things like schools, medical clinics, co-working spaces, and local transit stops. The third is the community, which is the 15-minute radius, which includes our whole master plan. And this includes things like markets, major transit stops, sports centers, cultural venues like theaters, libraries, and this idea started to gain traction in 2020, modeled by cities like Barcelona and Paris. To figure out how to implement this in Dallas, first we had to do some research.
Hi, my name is Mariana Lopez, and I'll be talking about population and the demographic of downtown. So there is around an estimate of 15,000 residents living in downtown, as well as there are around 9,000 keys, having 30 hotels, having 1.46 average household size, as well as 10,000 rentals, and in addition 838 townhomes. For more information of like the average household size of 1.46, there is married, cohabitation, male and female, but without a spouse. That's why there is a 1.46 average household size. There is a primary age group of 42.2%, and the ages are around 25 and 34-year-old. And there is a growth of residential population, which is around 71%. And there is around 26.9% of vacancy of office spaces. Now, a little bit about the connectivity of downtown. So it has a flanking of the highway system. So it has also the main street plays as a spine to downtown, which it takes you to three phases, which is the highway system, downtown itself, and even the Trinity River. And some of the primary connectors for downtown are some streets that are the Arcard Street, the Houston, and even the Market Street. And these primary streets are gateways into the inner city of downtown. And there's also neighborhood corridors, which would be these, and these are known as the dark lines, this one. And these are transit and neighborhoods from downtown. And these play a very important of downtown connectivity as well, because it goes from not only like from the Harold Simon Park, but from other districts such as the South Dallas, the Uptown, the Deep Ellum, and it's just a connectivity that brings from around the district into downtown.
Howdy, my name is Christian, and I'll be talking about the existing and future transit network maps. With the existing network being a more solid line, and the proposed or future projects being represented in more dashed lines. It's important to note that while Dallas boasts one of its largest light rail systems in the United States, its overall effectiveness is diluted by urban sprawl. So there's about 16% of residents that live within a 10-minute walk to a transit stop. And that leads to a public transit mode share of less than 4% roughly. Next slide, thank you.
Hi, my name is Angelica Biasana. I'll be talking about the landmarks in downtown Dallas. We focused on 3 zones: the Dallas Arts District, the City Center District, and the Civic Center District. In the Dallas Arts District, there's the Dallas Museum of Art, Clyde Warren Park. In the City Center District, there's a Pacific Plaza, Thanksgiving Square, and then in the Civic Center, there's the Dallas City Hall, Dallas Police Memorial, the Bank of America, the Dallas Memorial Auditorium, the Convention Center, and the Reunion Tower.
Hi guys, my name is Raylan Altamore. I'll be looking at the existing mix of uses. Over here towards the east of downtown is going to be the farmers market right here, the farmers market district. Here is going to be the most diverse set of land uses up north from our site, where the AT&T Discovery District is going to be, and over here to the left, over here to the west is going to be the new convention center right here as an anchor point over here in the west. And towards the south Dallas is going to be the Cedars. Nice. And I had also analyzed the green spaces and the vacant or underdeveloped properties or urban gaps that we had found. And what I had found was a surplus of asphalt paved surface parking lots. And this has exacerbated the urban heat island effect, which has left this area several degrees hotter than the other areas around it. And we had also analyzed this to where if you were to walk from the Dallas Farmers Market from here to the Dallas City Hall, it would be framed by these areas right here in your pedestrian experience, or from the convention center to the east, it would just be exacerbated by these urban gaps. And within the site, as we zoom in, it's going to be 21% to be vacant or underdeveloped, which is parking lots or areas that don't have necessarily anything on it. It's going to be 1.6 million square feet, and this is going to be about 26 football fields worth of space that could be developed on. And we were also looking at the historical buildings, where most of it lied around the very north of our site. And we also analyzed the way that the city of Dallas also behaves when it comes to conservation, either from the Dallas Historical Society or the Dallas Landmark Structures, which are different sets of laws that revolve around how to preserve these buildings.
Hello, my name is Deidre Kamer, and so after looking at the footprint of the old convention center, we decided to look outward in the other areas, and we found that there's around 173 acres of underdeveloped sites, And so we propose that in the future, when the city decides to create a master plan, that it would be a very cohesive one that would tie all of these areas for the betterment of the city as a whole. Also, now looking back at our study area, we found that about 91 acres of land in this area are owned by the city of Dallas. So we propose that when the city starts to develop these areas, it first begins with these lots, and that would create kind of an anchor that would create the demand for clustering and the density needed for the private lots to then be developed.
From our research, we noticed how fragmented our urban fabric was. Downtown Dallas is a primary example of the urban heat island effect. This is caused by the extensive paving from wide streets and expansive parking lots, which soaks up the Dallas heat. You can kind of see in the image the ratio of green to paving that we have here in Dallas. The lack of tree canopy that I just pointed out only intensifies the issue since there is little to no shade. This, paired with the lack of adequate sidewalks, highlights the car-centric infrastructure that exists today. Next slide. Looking at the existing Dallas grid, our site is where the old river grid shown in the orange, and then the perpendicular to the Trinity River, and then new north, south, east, west cardinal grid in blue meet. Next slide. This led to the wedge shape that we see in our project area. On the west, on the west, there's a convention center sitting along the vertical connector, Lamar Street, and the farmers market and residential zones in the east. This proposed stadium acts as a hinge that seamlessly connects the two grids. This is all connected with the proposed green loop, which you can see here, that connects the pedestrian, that creates a pedestrian connection for the whole site. Next slide.
So what you're seeing on screen is the area defined by the new master plan. What you are seeing are elemental studies that we conducted to better understand the site. As I said in the beginning, our first task was understanding the site, and that goes beyond what is physically there. So we had sun hours analysis, wind studies, landmark views analysis, microclimate analysis, and noise analysis as well.
We took all of our research and project goals and came up with individual proposals which tested different ideas. From there, we then took the overlapping ideas to create a collective master plan that responds to the challenges that we discovered. Next slide. Next slide. This resulted in 3 different zones in our master plan. The entertainment district, the civic and cultural district, as well as a residential and education district. Our site is located where the 2 grids that we mentioned previously collide. With this proposal, you can see that the arena acts as the hinge, which connects the new convention center to the city hall, and then the green loop connects it throughout the whole project site. The big idea with this plan is to create a vibrant city where people actually want to live. With the 3 zones, the walkable green loop connects it. To achieve the 15-minute city in Dallas, we'll provide walking, biking, and transit infrastructure. We'll create tree canopies for shade along the major streets, which is very necessary in Texas to create a walkable environment in the summer. The streets were also designed at a human scale with shorter crossing distances, and we wanted to utilize a mixed-use program to ensure there was vibrancy throughout the whole city.
Hello, my name is Chloe Jackson. I'm going to be talking about our landscape strategies, which we've been referring to as the green blue. Instead of treating parks as isolated pieces, we wanted to create a continuous green experience that connects our district as a whole. Today, many parts of downtown often feel disconnected, and so our green loop responds to this condition by creating a network of parks, green courtyards, and shaded walkways and public gathering spaces. It links major destinations such as the new convention center, Dallas City Hall, and surrounding neighborhoods, while also creating smaller opportunities of moments of relaxation, recreation, and public everyday community use. Overall, the green loop makes our site feel more connected, walkable, and inviting, and it also allows us to dedicate up to 10% of the green space to the site. The this is our pedestrian circulation diagram. As you can see, our green loop and the entertainment district become the core of activity as major pedestrian circulation paths are intentionally guided through these spaces. Another important connection that we are making is our north to south connectors. These connections bring pedestrians from central downtown directly through our site, across I-30 and into South Dallas or Cedars, which is turning what is currently a barrier into an opportunity for integration and expansion.
So while keeping the emphasis on the pedestrian experience, we also wanted to make sure that there's vehicular circulation from east-west and north-south. So as you can see here, we have Lamar Street that remains, we have Griffith Street, we have South Ackford Street, we have Irby Street, and we also have Hardwood Street. And then for our east-west connections, we have Young Street. We have a proposed new street that would connect Marilla and Ceremonial. And then also we have the existing I-30 below here. We also propose for parking to be mainly below grade. Towards the east, we have more so private parking for the residential, and then towards the west, we have the public parking. We also wanted to note that there is existing below-grade parking here under the old convention center that we wanted to make use of, about 1,200 spaces, and then expanding the already existing parking under the city hall.
Hi, my name is Juan Martinez, and my diagram is the proposed public transport routes. Basically, the old DART and bus and train routes, as you can see here, indicated by the blue, is the existing, and while the orange is our new proposed stops and the new proposed tram that goes all the way to St. Paul's Station. The idea of this diagram is to showcase the connection that we will create with the new routes, allowing for it to be connected with Cedars, as well as allowing a lot more inter-traveling within our master plan. So, for example, let's say you're arriving in the new convention center, and rather than having to drive and find parking that takes forever, you can either take a bus route that leads right directly here, or you can take the new proposed tram that has a bunch of stops right at the convention center, providing an easy way without having to worry about parking or driving. All right, and the next diagram is walking distances measured in time. As you can see here, each of these areas are measured in increments of 5 minutes. And the idea is to showcase that everything is within 15 minutes of our master plan, as 15 minutes is the most a person can walk without getting uncomfortable. And you can see here that in each increment of 5 minutes, there's always a point of interest or something to do. For example, starting from the convention center, within 5 minutes, you have the new arena, you have the cemetery, and you have a bit of the park. Within 10 minutes, you have the Dallas City Hall, you have the rest of the park, and the plaza as well for Dallas City Hall. And then within 15 minutes, you have the housing district and Dallas Farmers Market.
Let's take a closer look at our main streetscape concept. We have prioritized pedestrian connectivity by increasing the sidewalk widths. The green buffers also create a level of safety from vehicular traffic, as well as a wide tree canopy providing plenty of shade so that way it's comfortable in the hot summer months. We've proposed a two-way street with integrated transit lane. The reduced lanes also create a shorter crossing distance so that way it is safer for pedestrians crossing the street. And then next slide.
Hello everyone, my name is Manuel Ortega and I'll be going over our proposed master plan. As Avi previously mentioned, we set out to create 3 zones, basically the entertainment district, the civic and cultural district, and then that residential district. And I'll be going over all the uses within the master plan. So first off, we set off with the residential. Of course, as you can see, we anchor it closer to the farmers market side of the site, and it really creates that residential zone. And that accounts for 25.5% of the total square footage of the site. Hotels and service apartments, those are closer to the new convention center and the new arena that we're proposing. Those account for 18.6% of the total square footage of the site. Affordable housing, of course, closer to the farmers market and in that residential zone is around 12.4% of the total square footage of the site. Class A and creative offices. Although there's a surplus of office spaces right now, there is a need for Class A and creative office spaces. And this master plan is basically accounts to satisfy that need of those office spaces and accounts for 9% of the total square footage of the site. Educational sites, so we have the proposed college right there, as well as the K through 12 right there, closer to the farmers market side, is around 5.2% of the total square footage of the site. Health and wellness, which includes a state-of-the-art medical facility for the Dallas Mavericks, as well as some smaller ones closer to the residential side of the site. They're there, trust me, it looks really small, but it's right there. And that's around 4.2% of the total square footage of the site. Retail, which is really important. We want mixed use within this master plan. We want people to not have to drive out to get all their needs met. Let's say near the entertainment district, there'll be restaurants, everything bars, and closer to the residential zone, there'll be, let's say, small shops that people will get their needs met. That way they don't have to drive that far. That counts for 4.1% of the total square footage of the site. The Civic, which is very important to us, it's the extension to Dallas City Hall. That will bring a lot of services back to downtown Dallas. And that accounts for 3.8% of the total square footage of the site. Student housing, which is closer to that proposed college, is around 2.4% of the total square footage of the site. And cultural, which includes extension to the Dallas Library, as well as another one right closer to the Dallas Police Memorial. So around 1.9% of the total square footage of the site. And a community center. When we went to Dallas City Hall, we spoke to a lot of people who work there, and one of the things that they're missing a lot of services there. They want a place where they're like daycare, gyms, and that way they don't have to leave work early just to go pick up their children. Currently, Dallas City Hall doesn't accommodate those needs, but we're trying to make sure everyone's needs are met within the master plan and within City Hall as well. And the most important, the sports, the arena. It's around 12.5% of the total square footage of the site, and it's also, you see right there, it includes a practice facility for the Mavericks. And right here is the total square footage of the entire site. It's around 9.3 million square feet.
Hi, my name is Isaac Cabrera, and for our arena specifically, we did a reference of Chase Center. Chase Center sits on an 11-acre district. The actual building footprint itself is about a 4.25 acres, and usually around the United States average basketball stadiums range from 18 to 20,000 seats. So Chase Center is about an 18. It's on the lower end, but during concerts, it can hold up to 19.5 thousand seats. And this accommodates many suites, luxury, courtside lounges, and theater boxes. And this arena specifically really relies heavy on light rail and a ferry service. So some of the transportation we were trying to implement. So this was a great effect. And then just some case studies. LA Live it's anchored by the Crypto Arena, the Microsoft Theater, the Noble, the Grammy Museum, in KCA Plaza, and that is anchored by two massive hotels. The Intuit Dome, which is a single owner campus that really prioritizes fan experience and training efficiency, and that in case is actually 3 courts. An outside court here, two actually courts inside. One, of course, the main court, basketball court where the Clippers play, as well as a smaller, well, not smaller, but a less seated court for like high school games or any other venues. And of course, the Deer District, the Milwaukee Bucks, who just won the championship a couple years back in 2018. And this actually transformed Dead Space, a former highway, and they made something of it.
But one thing all of these really did lack was connection to the city. It looks like they're just plots, but they don't really connect back to the city and can expand on what's actually at that.
Hello everyone, my name is Michelle Estrada. And another one of the case studies that we research is the Wembley Park, located in London. So the initiatives with this master plan started all with the Wembley Stadium right here. And so before this master plan came into play, the Wembley Stadium was solely not surrounded by an entertainment district or residential, and it essentially brought in more dead zones and created spaces that were not sustainable long-term or year-round. So with that being said, they started to develop a master plan which started with the redevelopment of the Wembley Stadium, as well as developing more residential around it, including its civic district, along with entertainment and retail. And so that expanded all through this area and integrated itself well with the city. So this is one of those master plans that we take inspiration from, and we want to essentially stitch our city back together.
So today I'll be talking about the proposed density and what this map is basically, or this section cut is basically showing. It's showing this master plan that I have right here, and it's putting it into three-dimensional form, and it's not just random. There's a method to the madness. And so specifically we have here is the Dallas Farmers Market on the top over here, and then the Dallas Farmers Market on the low, on the right, where we start at a low population density since a lot of residential area, and then it's about 102 feet, and it rises up as we go further into the site towards the convention center. So we have like buildings like the A-class offices next to the entertainment district that are now reaching about 588 feet. And then we go back down and level off from that crest point to a point that is on level and matches with the Reunion Tower. And it's what we're trying to show here is that we're trying to build a skyline that integrates what's existing, and it's not just going to overpower something in the beautiful history that we have here in Dallas.
So this section takes a closer look at our vision for the city. As you exit the new convention center, you enter this proposed plaza, which is lined by shops as well as restaurants, as well as open green space. You'll notice South Ripon Street remains at grade, but we proposed a pedestrian bridge over it. This ensures that the vehicular functions remain, such as drop-off areas for ride shares and other services that will be needed for the arena. We go up the stairs, and then there's a raised plaza as well in front of the proposed arena. As you can see, within the arena, there's subterranean parking, as well as other necessities, and then we even propose a practice court within the arena as well. Connecting to the existing Wings Arena, we have a proposed Dallas Live, which would be an entertainment zone, and then this connects back through to South Ackerd Street with the City Hall, as well as a residential area beyond.
And now for the fun part, does it work? Our team used Autodesk Forma site analysis to conduct elemental analysis, as I previously mentioned. It takes into account data from the US Geological Survey, Google, ArcGIS, Esri, and Microsoft, as well as satellite images to give us data. The data-driven approach that we took allowed us to compare the existing site with our proposed site in real time. So this is the sun hours analysis. What it does is it calculates the number of sun hours on a specific point throughout the day. This is specifically for the summer solstice. So this analysis highlights a critical error in our existing site. 82% of the ground is exposed to sunlight throughout the day. It receives 9+ hours of sunlight. That increases discomfort. With our proposed master plan, we decreased that from 82% to 42%, successfully decreasing the amount of sun hours that hit the ground and building facades. Next slide, please. And so this is a study on shadows. This is shading. It calculates what parts of the site will receive shading throughout the day. And the critical issue with the existing site is that only 18% of the site receives 2 hours of shading per day during the summer solstice. So with the proposed master plan, we filter in light and then provide shading to those areas that need it. And then our final outcome is that we successfully increased shading from 18% all the way up to 58%.
Hello everybody, my name is Lorenzo Najera and I focus on the urban wind analysis. So this is an annual analysis that demonstrates the wind velocities and behavior from the strong southern winds. So on the left we have our current site analysis. Here it highlights how the removal of the convention center kind of leaves Dallas City Hall and downtown Dallas exposed to these strong southern winds. Here we notice 3 different behaviors. We notice sharp corner accelerations. We notice the deceleration of wind behind sheltered side of the building and wind funneling into the urban corridors. So our new master plan uses these 3 strategies to minimize the wind effects inside of our master plan. So by carefully placing a diversity of building masses along I-30, we create this big shield for the northern side of our site. So next we have our pedestrian comfort analysis. So this analysis uses the same wind data from the previous analysis and distributes it into 5 different pedestrian comfort levels. So we have sitting, standing, walking, strolling, and just plain uncomfortable. On the left we have the current site analysis, and here you see it's mostly orange where there's no unique spots where you want to be at, except for over here where kind of nobody walks on that side. And then on our new master plan, you notice a diversity of different comfort levels. So here we focus on our pedestrian pathways, plazas, and parks that we're proposing.
Who's excited about the incoming Texas heat here in Texas? Yeah, that sounds about right. So if you ever watch the news, you'll see that the weatherman will give you, or the weatherwoman too as well, they'll give you data that is recorded. So that will give you like a temperature, and then they also give you a feels like temperature. This microclimate analysis is specifically giving you that feels like temperature. And to give you like a technical definition, the microclimate analysis is a mapping or a diagram that provides a better understanding of environmental conditions, and that takes into effect stuff like solar radiation, cloud coverage, and wind roads. And so with this study, this microclimate study is done in June around 3 p.m., one of the hottest times around the year. And we have these impervious concrete lots right here that are reading temperatures of 103 degrees Fahrenheit. And then with the installation of like blue-green infrastructure as well as like high-rise towers due to the density, you're creating shade, and that provides the temperature drop to 93 degrees Fahrenheit in these same lots. So over here it's a lot more yellow, and over here you have a lot more red and orange, which is just more uncomfortable. And the average for Dallas is about 94 degrees Fahrenheit for June. So I'd say we're doing just about on par or pretty much better than that. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Alexander Reyes. Before I start, who here likes how loud the city is? This is a specific analysis, which is one of the important ones. This is done within like the most traffic time during noise, where there's more noise levels. So it is represented. It's the measure of loudness. So the higher it is, the louder it is. So essentially what it is in the existing site right now, you can see there is a lot of red where it reaches to 90 decibels. So it can be represented as how loud a hairdryer is. So that is something that we don't want as people, as the comfortable levels for us would be 70 and below. So we really want to diminish that within our site. So as you can see in our new proposed site, we were able to diminish most of that unwanted and uncomfortable noise for us by 23%. By allowing these design elements like the park deck over I-30, which is where most of that noise is coming from, and lowering the amount of lanes for the most of the entire site, but specifically the residential.
Hello, my name is Angelica Sana. I did the view analysis on landmarks. So it evaluates the visibility from both the ground level and the highway. The blue areas are where they're most visible, whereas the yellow is the non-visible areas. This is the Dallas City Hall. There's a lot of visible areas in the old plan, and then in the new one, you start to see that it starts creating corridors, framing these iconic landmarks. And then for the convention center, there's still like a lot of visible areas in the old one, but in the newer version, there's more corridors from here, 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 and here. For the reunion tower, you start to see in the new master plan, there's just one large singular line leading up to the reunion tower.
Yeah. And now for the key outcomes. Did it work? So for the sun hours, we successfully reduced the number of sun hours from 82% to 42%. For the wind studies, we successfully created safety corridors to be shielded from the strong wind tunnels. For the microclimate, we reduced the field-like temperature by 10 degrees during the summer solstice months. And then for urban noise, we decreased the unwanted noise by 23%. For the view analysis, we framed clear views of Dallas landmarks, which creates a sense of place throughout the site.
So the experience that we want to bring with our master plan is one that's centered around this 15-minute city concept that not only allows those people to be more comfortable, but it anchors the city as a whole. And for too long, our city has been formed by car-dependent isolation, which does not serve the people. And we want to flip that narrative and bring more comfort and transition with this master plan. We want to bring more resilient neighborhoods to our city, and with that, we'll see the entertainment district guidance.
So this diagram is looking at activation on game days, meaning that both of the arenas are going to be active. This is mainly looking at the cluster of people that are gathering around the main plaza space that serves as the anchor for our site to the new convention center. And you can see that people will cluster along that path leading up to Dallas City Hall and up to the AT&T Discovery District, which is already a well-established game activation zone. And then this is a render of what we envision the plaza space to look at. So whether you want to sit in the lawn and enjoy the sun, or sit back in the shade and have your own space, you have a space for you to be there. You have a space for you to enjoy during game days. So now I want to turn the question back to you guys. Would you guys want to go there and have a drink someday during game days?
This is activation of non-game days, so when there isn't a Mavericks game or a Wings game, you can come enjoy, the plaza or the deck park, Dallas Live, the park cemetery, Pioneer Park and the cemetery, AT&T Discovery District, the City Hall Plaza, the residential retail district, and it really shows that when there isn't games, this area still stays very active with all the amenities that our site can propose. And this is just a render of, doesn't have to be a Mavericks game, but people can come, they can enjoy Dallas Live, have a drink. I would want to have a drink, get a little tipsy, have some fun, just make memories. But this is just a render really showing just how live it can be on non-game days or game days.
All right, I'll be going over our extension of Dallas City Hall, which IMPA originally envisioned. So we started off the semester with actually going to City Hall. We took a site visit. We walked the area, and to be fair, their estimate is all wrong. There isn't that much damage in the building. We saw it with our own 2 eyes. But there's enough space between the new convention center and City Hall to accommodate a new arena without having to tear down City Hall. And IMPA originally envisioned extension to Dallas City Hall. And this master plan, we're bringing that idea forward. But once again, we want to bring those services back to the core of the city, which is downtown Dallas. We want to make sure that all the needs of the people are met, and they can do that within one central core. And here are just some preliminary renders of what the space could be, right outside of City Hall. Right now, it's just concrete. So like, whenever you go over there, you just stand there. You go there for like a couple 15 minutes, and you're like, all right, this is it. I gotta go. But this is activated. It's lively. There's people there. But that's only because the space is being activated. Most people, they'll just walk up, go a couple minutes, and then leave the AT&T Discovery District because that space is activated. People are using that space to its full potential. This right here is what this City Hall Plaza could potentially be. It could become. And here's just another view at night. Me personally, I would love to be here. See a lot of examples of cities activating their plazas, and there's like activity all throughout the day and through the night. And this is what the city could become and what it deserves.
Now going over our main community anchors for a master plan. I'll start off over here with our proposed deck park. And just as a question for you all, have you all been to Clydewarren Park? Yeah. Well, this deck park is over 3 times the size of that. So we're not being shy on this proposal, and we want to emphasize that this master plan can stitch the city together. We have the cedars going down this way. We want to connect the cedars, invite everything that has to do with their master plan here. So we have our deck park, community pavilions along the deck park. We have the plazas in front of the arena. We have our health clinic, the Pioneer Park and Cemetery, as well as mentioned before, the library extension to Dallas Library, Cultural Center, and the City Hall Pavilion and Plaza. So here we have a view sitting on top of the deck park. We have kids playing. It's an activated area. We have an overlook over the residential district, as well as parts of the extension to City Hall. So not only we have a face now for Dallas City Hall facing the Cedars, this is a great connector to Dallas. And here, looking at the proximity of the sports facility, as well as the health clinic alongside of it, we'd have a view with Reunion Tower in the back.
Here you can see our diagram that highlights all the retail that we're proposing for our entertainment district. So with our new anchors and magnets right here that we're proposing and adding to our master plan, we're kind of backing that up and adding retail around it. We have our High Street on Lamar, and we're also connecting to the AT&T Discovery District and all the way to our farmers market. And we also have park, food and beverage for the Cedars and everybody visiting. And then here's another view of reimagining Lamar Street, where you're facing north, looking at the Omni Hotel, the Bank of America, and you see that in the nighttime it's more lit and active, and it's just somewhere you want to be at. And I'm personally tired of going to, what's it called?
Deep Ellum.
Deep Ellum. So yeah, I would love to go here instead of going to Deep Ellum.
Alright, this here is the hotel diagram. So this darker shade of purple includes the proposed hotels, and then this lighter shade is the existing hotels. So as you can see, there isn't a lot of hotels. So really anchoring all our proposed hotels into the entertainment district, not only would it help and serve during game days, but like Isaac went over the non-activated game days, you have so many other amenities. These hotels can still be thriving, not even only on game days. So personally, depending on the amount of these hotels go for, I would get one and I would book it for at least more than a week, because there's so much activity that could be done, and you could be like, there's endless, such as the park, the City Hall Plaza, visiting farmers market. Like there's so much more than just during game days. So being able to propose these hotels anchoring near the entertainment district will help it thrive. Then this visual is just how the hotels are connecting to the fabric, creating an exterior living room. So not only like these hotels are being separate, but they're also being connected to essentially our green loop.
Hello, my name is Paul Ruiz, and I'll be covering the residential programming as well as the green loop, which is the spine of our new master plan. As you can see in the yellow, it's going to be our proposed residential housing. In the light brown, we're going to have the proposed affordable housing, and in the light orange, we're going to have the proposed student housing as well. All this is going to be within the green loop, keeping everything a short walk within the entire site. Here's going to be a render of what it would look like to be on the green loop itself. As you can see, you have a wide protected sidewalks with a tram line cutting through within it, and buildings that are pulled up to the street edge with activated ground level floors, keeping it lively and shaded within the whole day. And this is the green loop itself. The green loop was designed as a destination and circulation within the master plan. As you can see, it reinforces the key nodes that we've already previously covered, and it also encourages people to linger and explore as they further journey outwards the city. Here we have an additional rendering of one of these residential courtyards that are along the green loop. As you can see, we have seating terraces, water features, and retail amenities that spill out into the plaza itself. And we have an additional rendering of another residential courtyard along the green loop. And this is going to be more intimate in scale. As you can see, it has more lush planters, additional seating areas, as well as more calm moments for residents and families to gather in. None of this, of course, would work without the retail. So we have right here in the light red is going to be the retail that's going to be along the green loop with shops and services that are directly woven along it. And this will help reinforce the overall idea of the 15-minute city.
So ultimately, this master plan serves as a testament that urban expansion does not require a blank slate. We can in fact keep Dallas City Hall intact and revitalize its surrounding area. Not only does this stitch the entirety of Dallas City together, but its surrounding neighbors as well. Cities don't move forward by erasing themselves, they evolve. And we need Dallas City Hall as a landmark because it is it's the face of Dallas and its home and the heart of Dallas. So with this master plan, we're unlocking its potential, and we hope that you all see and come together today, see our vision, and realize that Dallas is a world-class city that can achieve everything: work and play, livability and entertainment. And with that, as natives to Dallas, this is the city that we want to call home. Thank you.
And now we'll open it up for questions.
So you guys established and studied what improves the quality of our lives, connecting with history in our past, and also the climate-related items, but also the mixed use, walkability. And that was through a diversity of uses. From what you studied and the examples of other cities, what type of impact would it have on this neighborhood if someone were to come in single-handedly and implant a 50-acre single-owner entertainment district site with one purpose? And we could go on from there, but just because I agree with everything that you've done and with what you have defined as what makes people happy, what makes them healthy, and what creates community and an improved quality of life. So I'd love to hear your thoughts on that. Thank you.
I'm sorry, I'm going to jump because I actually did the. Would you mind if I show the master plan? Yes. We actually did a very quick study of what 50 acres means. So the area you see here is around 25 acres, right? In order to achieve 50 acres here, you don't only have to take down City Hall. You have to take the cemetery. There's no other way. To really get like the 50 acres that you're looking for.
And the library.
So that's the scary part, right? You're taking over all of that. Now we did not study what it means to have a single use, but we all know that an arena surrounded by parking is death to downtown. Or at least that's what we do.
Something I think you might want to consider, several years ago, I think it's about 7 years ago now, they considered having a D2 line for DART to run through downtown Dallas that would stop right in front of City Hall, which would help with your plans and energizing the city center. That was put on hold because, unfortunately, the Silver Line went to over $1 billion cost overrun. But that might be something you look at because they had planned originally to have it go subterranean near the Perot Center and stay underground past City Hall and then reemerge over in Deep Ellum area. There were some contractual issues with property owners in the Deep Ellum area, but the new CEO of DART, the acting CEO, David Leininger, was on board at that time. Also, Michael Morris might be a resource you'd want to consider talking to, because that would really help provide the mass transit that an arena would demand. And it would also help. Unfortunately, $1 billion cost overrun put a nix on that for a while.
Oh, yeah, sure.
How much research did you go into on existing master plans and studies that are being done in the city? Because there's like an existing plan for bike route expansion, existing green ops. And I would just want to know if you integrated those into your plan at all, and if you're looking at like how, because if you have those existing plans implemented in your design, it makes them sell a little bit more to the city, and that would be interesting to see.
We roughly looked at the public transportation and like the what's it called? The bike routes and stuff like that. One of the research shows like there wasn't that many bike routes existing, so we wanted to, with our master plan, lessen the roads to also have availability to have people walking around, and also bike routes as well, so that people can actually use their bikes around.
Well, I love what you've done. I really, really like it. I think you should get an A tomorrow morning when you do it. It really represents a lot of good thought.
You have to get the microphone.
And at this point, your plan seems to be the plan that exists as far as I know, to help people understand what's involved here and what is possible here. The maps have said that they're going to come out with a plan of their own, and I don't know when that will happen, but I'm wondering, is there, I don't think anybody here in this room has seen the maps plan or has any idea what's in it. But the optimist in me sees this as a really good and important opportunity for Dallas. And the optimist in me believes that is the kind of thing that might lead to a really good product here. And to do that, we're going to have to find a way to accommodate, whether it's the Mavs or some other funders that may have ideas for this space. But I'm wondering, since we don't know what they're gonna come out with, is there any idea that it might be useful to reach out to them and share your ideas with them before they announce theirs, to see if you can have some impact on where they're going with their ideas?
No, yeah. So from reaching out to them, we pretty much know they're going to keep it, to themselves until they're ready to share, because they'll know they get a lot of backlash on it. So I know there's not going to be potential for collaboration. So that's why all of us have been pushing the city of Dallas to do something, to hear out for ideas, and they responded. And so that will be submitted May 3rd. That's also when the Mavs are also submitting. And so we wanted to be prepared to say, hey, it's not just our option. There are multiple options on the table. It's not just what they're envisioning, what they're keeping to themselves. What City of Dallas members are also already looking into. And so from our standpoint was, hey, there's another vision that the students have, what they want for their city. And so we want to go ahead and provide that. And since November, we've been working on this. I don't know how much further they have already developed their plans. So to do something like this does take a while. So I don't think it will have an impact at the moment, but at least we can have a voice to tell the city, slow down. Let's collaborate. Let's work with every player that is available, and let the city speak for itself.
Thanks, Eddie. Can you hear me? All right. First of all, let me say, I absolutely love this. We are thrilled to have your ideas, your research, all of those things brought, and you are a neutral party, and that's what's really, really important in the discussion right now. I'm going to narrow to one tiny piece of this, which I think from a civic standpoint is really important, and that is City Hall Plaza. That's what a lot of us use. If you want to protest what's happening locally, nationally, statewide, that's where you go. If you are concerned about whatever it is policy-wise, that's always been an open space for us to go. In addition, it's been, Beach Boys to parades for our veterans, to Day of the Dead, all of those things. And how do we preserve enough space to allow to have that open space to allow for those uses that are civically extremely important?
No, yes, and I think that's one thing that the students were looking at, where you saw the hovering pavilion. For their thoughts, it was becoming a protest pavilion. So it's still a gathering pavilion, obviously protection to add shade and things like that, but at the same time, a gathering space. It's still vital to it, but bringing a landscape element where people can gather.
So we can do that here. We can use the structure to place our stages and those kinds of things. How much acreage does that end up being that you're utilizing? Can you talk about that?
Look, in reality...
Do you shrink any of the acreages?
No, of course not. No. And what currently is water,
yes,
we're replacing with green. So it's not that we're changing, and this is because of the filtrations down to the parking and all that, just to be practical.
Right.
But the plaza stays the same. It stays, but you integrate the green element. We try to be very, very careful with this. Just shade, because we need shade, and green, and that's it. And the rest stays the same. That's what we're trying to do.
And remember my art.
Yes, yes, yes.
Also, another one of the conversations we have had was, in addition to the protest plaza, we had also been kind of, not necessarily joking, but we did kind of explore the fact that, like, if there were any marches or whatnot, it would be like, you'd be able to be walking around it, and it would be an easy march, like, around the, it would be a walkable city, and it would be able to be done in terms of marches instead of just one spot.
Also, I believe some people were thinking about maybe moving into the AT&T building. I believe the plaza there would actually be smaller, so the plaza that we have left open right now remains larger.
Thank you. Great job, y'all. I guess my biggest question, I think some people answered some of it already, but I didn't hear costs and the economic impact of this on preserving the landmark and what that asset does to the economy here.
I think what they said, $1 billion to renovate City Hall is not possible. We visited it, and it looked really nice, structurally stable. Of course, there's leakage. It's always going to be leakage in any building. Fixing that, there's no way there's $1 billion. I think it'll cost more to demolish it than most people expect. That concrete's really, really stable. It's not moving. I heard someone say there's like thousands of tons of rebar in it. 14,000. Yep. And that's a lot of rebar. And also, all of that is waste. There's no way to repurpose that material. So I think demolishing it is just, it's not worth it.
I really enjoyed your data-driven approach, and I wanted to know if there was any analysis into phasing, like how you were going to keep the space activated over probably 20 years that this would be for construction, and if there was any like deep thought in creating like anchor points for development to keep the project going over the long term, because that's really a big problem right now.
Well, for sure. The first phase would be the Mavericks Arena. It's a point, brings people in, then start different phasing of residential, the civic, all of that would come after.
And just to add on to what Isaac just said, yes, we looked at many of the phases. We looked at the areas that need improvement through the analysis. It told us like, hey, we need to fix this first, you need to fix that. So just to answer your question, yes, like the analysis that we conducted did tell us which parts needed improvement first.
Also kind of going off of what he was saying about the phasing opportunities, we also took into, within our research, we took into consideration which sites the city currently owns, and I think those could be sites where initially the development could start. And so if we kind of look at this master plan, currently this area is all city owned, so if we were to put the proposed arena here, it would kind of create the activity that would be needed to kind of invite residential developers in that could build out this area further on. And so I believe that since this is the main anchor, if we were to do this first, it would kind of drive people in, and then this could kind of supplement the growth that is created from the development of this zone.
No, I was going to say that.
I asked earlier, precedents, have you studied any specific cities or other sports facilities that actually would have been successful in doing something of this scale in other cities? I know it's a crazy architecture thing. We always have to do precedent studies or precedent studies.
Show me what you did.
Remind me, because I heard Barcelona once, but I don't see how that applied.
They have London.
So Oh, you want to talk about it?
Wembley Park?
Wembley Park, yes, this is a master plan that was done in London. And with their master plan, they started with the Wembley Stadium, in which they redid it to revitalize that area and then build upon that, the stadium as an anchor to that site. And so they started with 40 acres at first. This site is about 91 to 95 acres in total. And so they started with their transit system here in axes with the stadium. And then started on this area building around the entertainment, their civic areas. And from there, they started building a lot more of their residential and green parks.
And it was not just one developer, it was multiple through it. And yes, it took 20 years, and it works. And
Was that done for the Olympics?
I saw the before and after, sorry?
Was that done for the Olympics?
No, that started way before the Olympics. 2012, right? That was way before the Olympics, and the area was absolutely terrible, and it completely changed everything. And it has the right mix of uses, the right density. It works for game days and non-game days. This is exactly what we want to be doing here.
Also to kind of, I did touch on Barcelona, but to kind of explain as how that would apply to our site. So I've actually been to Barcelona, and so the super blocks were really nice. I thought it was, it was very functional, and a lot of people could go on the streets. There was still traffic. I think here in Dallas, we do need to have a little bit of vehicle connection as well. And so what I liked about the Barcelona design, I think we more so implemented towards the residential zones, where we took the wider sidewalks, we took the retail on the street fronts, and then we kind of combined it with the tree canopy to make it pedestrian friendly, but also cars could go through as they need as well.
So first, let me applaud you for all your hard work. This is incredible. And you put a lot into it and a lot of passion into it. And I think everyone in this room commends you for that hard work. While it may still need a little polish, it's pretty far along. I've always found that being visible is the key to success. And now you're up against a race against time for this May 3rd deadline. And you have the Mavericks. The Mavericks, right? I mean, let's face it, they're kind of a big name in town. And they're gonna come out on May 3rd with a big plan for the city of Dallas. Do you all have a plan to get ahead of that from a PR standpoint? Talking with civic leaders, talking with various organizations. Have you all thought about that, or getting in front of the Dallas Morning News editorial board to show them what the young people of this city want?
We have a Dallas Morning News here, so by the way. Yes. To answer your question, yes, we don't have the maps, but we have the 10 presidents.
Yes.
We've been very lucky to be working now for about 3 weeks or a month with them to put together a serious proposal. So what you see here, it's already the updated master plan based with their feedback. And they are working on other things that are going to put together what I'm hoping to be a very good proposal for that. So we're not alone. We're working with some masters of architecture, and it's really exciting. It's really exciting to put together something really, really serious. I don't know what the maps are going to do. We're going to give it our best shot, and try to propose something very serious.
I just want to point out, we made the Dallas Morning News. We've done an interview last week with NBC5 News. We're going to be TV famous, hopefully. So from a PR standpoint, I think we're getting there before the Mavericks. We'll just see what they come out with and see what we compete with.
Little story, when Jerry was bringing his stadium here, one of the things he was looking at very hard, like a case study, he was looking at what DeBartolo did in San Francisco. And what DeBartolo did, it wasn't just the stadium. The stadium was a generator, event days and things like that. So it's looking at a stadium as to all of its event days. But the other thing that the Alcyon's going to be looking at, like they all are now, it's like, how do I monetize? How do I benefit by my generator? So everything around your stadium, like your retail, things like that, you might start to furnish that and get ready and have some answers. Because if I were Adelstein right now, I'd be looking at this saying, how does this work for me? A good example would be Jerry did his project out in Frisco. If you look at that, that's a moneymaker. So it's all about that stadium, and he gets to monetize everything around it. That's how the Adelsteins are going to be thinking. It's a real estate play. So you got to take the land around it. How does that generator influence? You know, what capacity do you have for retail and hospitality and all of those things with your plan? And having answers to that, you know, would help you.
I also wanted to note the people who in this room who are civic leaders, the Honorable Valletta Lill, and the importance of their feedback, and also Council Member Paul Ridley. And I think, was there one other council member here?
Councilman Resendez was here earlier.
That's what I thought as well. I thought that he.
Who was here?
Resendez. Jaime Resendez, Councilmember.
Oh.
Jaime Resendez, I saw him earlier. But I wondered if Paul Ridley has some thoughts.
Well, thanks for asking me to comment. It's often been said that nature abhors a vacuum. We were operating in a vacuum for many months. I kept asking the question, why do we need to tear down City Hall? What do we need to make way for? And no one could answer the question. Now you have provided an answer. You have filled that vacuum by your visionary and thoughtful and well-researched plan. It's exactly what we needed to show what this area of the CBD can be if we have the political will to bring it about, and we have the vision now of what it can be, a walkable, green, people-oriented district. So I applaud your efforts and your vision, and your timing was perfect. This transcends a mere classroom exercise. It becomes a real-world plan that is so critical at this point in time. So I am very pleased to see this, and I want to give you the accolades that you deserve for accomplishing this feat.